Hello everyone. For this week's lesson, we are continuing on with Mr. Tiger and moving to part 2. So last week we made our tiger's face and paws and tail. And this week we are focusing on the background and adding in the plants to make it look like our tiger is at home in the jungle. We're going to be adding lots of texture and things to add to what we're making, our picture. So our step 1 for today is we are going to be cutting out the pieces we made last time, the tiger head, paws, and tail. So first we're going to start with the head here. So I would recommend for that really hairy part on the cheeks, just kind of skipping it and going around it first. And once you have it cut out, going back, and I wouldn't say you have to snip every single piece, but just pick a few pieces to snip to really make it stand out. It'll still look, hairy and fluffy without every single piece cut out. And then for the tail and the paws, just cut it out like you would anything else. Be a little careful with the tail. Mine got stuck on my scissors, as you see there. If anything rips, don't sweat it. You can just tape it back together. Once you've got those cut out, put them to the side. Make sure you clean up your scraps. And let's move on to step 2. So for step 2, we are going to need some colored paper for our background. We're making the greenery, the plants, the trees, leaves in the jungle. So you have 2 options here. You can use colored paper, or you can make your own. I did not have colored paper at home, so I made my own. So you start with 3 pieces of paper if you're doing it this way, and I have 2 different colors of green. So for the first 2 pages, I'm going to color all over with my light green. There are a few different ways you could do this too. If you have paint at home, you could definitely paint in your background. But I want to get lots of different texture and colors in there for our greenery. So now I'm taking my dark green and I'm rubbing it over something that has a hard texture. Like we did for the snake. Remember, we ran your fingers over something. That object is probably pretty safe to use again for this part if you're choosing to make your own papers. If you're not, you can just kind of skip this step. So yeah, those are our 2 pages for the greens, and then I'm going to make 1 page for some flowers. This part is optional. Here I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can make the leaf shapes. So the first way, we're going to fold the paper in half, and then you're going to draw a really big leaf from one corner to the next. As big as you can, as big as will fit, and then we are going to cut it out with scissors. Try your best when you're doing this, but it's okay to remember that in the jungle, there's so many different kinds of leaves in all shapes and sizes, and sometimes they're wiggly, sometimes a bug has eaten part of one. So if yours isn't in a perfectly straight line like that, it is okay. And then I'm just going to cut out some little triangles in my leaf just to add a little bit more texture to it, make it look a little more leaf-like. I can open it up. Wow. And then I'm going to add a long line with my crayon down the center there to be the leaf's stem. I'm going to put those to the side. And now you might have noticed I saved my scraps. So we're actually going to use the scraps here. You can tear them and make even more leaves or like a bush. It doesn't need to be a perfect shape. Just have some fun tearing these and making new shapes. So for my second page, I'm basically doing what I did with the scraps. I'm just tearing some long pieces to be my leaves and maybe some parts of a bush. So I'm going to put those aside. And now it's time to assemble. So I used a blanket from my couch that has probably a lot of dog hair on it, as you can see, and that's okay. I think a blanket would work best, or if you have like a big t-shirt or a sweater or something, you can use that for your background. Or if you have colored paper, you could use that too. I don't, so I just used whatever I had. Then we're in step 4. We're going to arrange the composition. So first you're going to put your tiger down, and then we can start arranging the other leaves and pieces that we just made. We can arrange it around the tiger, but we want to make sure not to cover the tiger up too much. We still want to see the tiger's face. Oh, and I had some some flowers, so I was going to add those in there from another project. And then I have a house plant with some vines, so I added that in there too. And there you can see is what it looks like. I'm going to take a picture, and there's the final project. I can't wait to see what you make. Good luck.